Hello. Thank you all for joining. My name is Zennen Clifton, EVP of Three Black Dot Networks, here to introduce and moderate our lovely panel today on an upcoming show we're doing called Gaming While Black. For a little intro, Three Black Dot is a MCN, which is also a content studio focused on creating stories and supporting influencers at the intersection of gaming and culture. We're part of the global web media network. We partner with the most authentic and influential names in gaming, who amass over 6 billion hyper-engaged monthly viewers around the globe. This is including 100 plus million subscribers, a network of 8 creators. Three Black Dot helps do everything from influencer marketing and sponsorship to branded IP, e-commerce, games, everything under one roof. We also really want to make sure we produce and finance and support content creators that have niche audiences with multicultural voices. For example, we financed and produced Queen and Slim recently and are jumping in and doing more and more of these. So today we're talking about an upcoming show, Gaming While Black, which is a humorous and thought-provoking digital series exploring the hard-hitting questions like, why do all Black gamers love anime? What we want to do is talk about some of these topics in a lighthearted fashion that then jump into more meaningful and thought-provoking, engaging opportunities for creators to converse and talk about all things gaming while Black. I want to introduce the two folks that you actually want to hear today. These are our two producers. They are also part of our network. These are great creators. The first guy you're going to meet is the one and only Marcel Cunningham. You may know him as BasicallyIDoWrk. He has at least 4.8 million YouTube subscribers and following and growing. Plays various titles, long-term friends, pulling in almost 1 billion views. He maintains his audience across 2 million social followers in various platforms. He's highly engaged, authentic, and blunt as hell. The second guest you'll meet, and I'll let both of them give a little 2-second blurb about themselves, is Arif. Arif does it all. He sings, he acts, he dances. He creates a lot of some of the most hilarious voice impressions on YouTube. He does voiceovers. He's a game troller. The guy does everything. You're looking at 6 million subscribers on YouTube. You may be confused because he can do a phenomenal Obama impression, Pennywise, Kendrick Lamar, you name it. So without further ado, I'm going to jump and kick it over to Marcel, who can give you a little 2 seconds about himself.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Hi, Zennen. My name is Marcel. I've been YouTube for about 8 years now, playing video games. Yeah, just having a good time, and I'm excited to be on the panel today. And also with us, Arif.
Hello, everybody. You might know me as Azerrz Arif. I do voice impressions on video games. I've been doing it for a minute now, singing, Omegle, stuff like that. It's a blast, and I'm excited to be here today and talk about Gaming While Black. This is great.
So here we are, guys. It's all happening. Just to kick it off, it's a fun topic because when we were kicking around the idea, I remember giving you each guys a call saying, look, we're thinking about doing this show. It's called Gaming While Black. It's about, and then you both were like, I'm in. Next question. Say less.
Right.
Exactly what happened.
Verbatim. So, and then it really sparked some really interesting and organic conversation because it felt like it was a topic that, people kind of talk about one-on-one, on their own, side conversation, but really haven't had a forum to do it, we'll say officially. So, let's start, I think, with kind of some of the bigger questions. What is it to be a Black gamer? So is that a weird topic? Are you a gamer? Are you Black? Are you a YouTuber? How would you describe yourself?
Right. Oh, no, for sure, man. I think it's a very unique experience. I mean, it's in the sense that we're all gamers, but especially as a content creator, your content off bat, like your subscribers, the way they interact with you sometimes is a little bit different, but I think for the most part, we're all very the same as everyone else, honestly.
Yeah, I feel like we don't put ourselves in a category, but other people put us in those categories, which is kind of weird. Because at the end of the day, it's just I'm just a YouTuber. and then
Right.
you know, you have to label yourself as a YouTube gamer or a YouTube Black gamer. So
Yeah, exactly.
Got it. And you guys, it's, you know, the stereotypes obviously are, you know, you're a Black male, you're gonna pick up a microphone or a basketball, or maybe that's it, right? And you
Right.
guys have both in your own, because again, you guys are you're hilarious, you have great personalities, but you both do your kind of individual niche content. But what made you guys say, you know what, I think gaming, right, is kind of where I want to jump into? And did you feel like you were going against the grain as a Black male doing that? Did you feel like there was an avenue for that? Like what inspired you to do this?
I don't think so, because you know, in high school I was like 5'6", so there's no chance of me being any kind of athlete whatsoever. You know what I mean? Like, I was on the bowling team. That was about as athletic as I got in high school.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
I don't know, you know, just hanging out with your homies, playing games all the time after school, you know, not doing your homework.
100%. Man, like I was playing Call of Duty 4 for, oh man, every single day after work. I mean, school. You know, my mom would come in around like 3 a.m. and like yell at me. But over the years, man, I don't know. I've always been a dorky, nerdy kid, so I dabbled in basketball and stuff. You know, but you know, I wasn't the kid to play Madden or 2K and stuff like that. So that was one thing that was different.
That's an interesting point too, because we talked about it as well. Like when you say you're a Black gamer, a lot of are there stereotypes, right? Is the idea that, oh, you're a gamer, you play Madden, 2K,
Right.
you name it. Is that standard? Why is that the assumption? Should we be breaking that assumption? You know?
Right. Yeah, I think so. Like those are, I mean, awesome games. What you said?
Do you guys play Madden or 2K, or what games are kind of your go-tos?
Not at all.
No, just GTA, Call of Duty, every major AAA story title, whether it be Uncharted, Red Dead Redemption, stuff like that, anything. Among Us, Fall Guys.
It's not to bash those games. Those games are great.
Exactly.
But it's just, I don't know. They're competitive, but not the type of competitiveness that I enjoy.
Exactly.
So, and fun. They're not as fun. But like, to completely understand, like, yeah, there's a stereotype that, oh, you play Madden and 2K. Like, if you run into like your cousins, like, what are you doing? I play video games for a living. You play on 2K? No, I don't.
All the time.
Add me on COD.
Exactly.
Do your families fully appreciate what you do for a living? Like, do they know what you do? Do they get it? Are they like, oh yeah, no, my son, cousin, brother does gaming online? You know, is that something in the community that is understood and accepted and embraced?
I wouldn't say for older generations still. Like, I have to re-explain what I do almost every time I see them, like, whether it be an aunt, uncle. Like, you can talk to people on the game? I'm like, yeah, you can talk to people around the world. But how is that possible? I don't get it. And I have to tell them every single time. But I think they understand it. They're like, oh, he's on the game thing. You know what I mean? Like something like that. But that's about it.
Yeah, I think like our parents are like the first generation to kind of accept that, like, oh, okay, this wasn't a thing, now it's a thing. I think like the generation below us, like those, like the parents that are having kids now, like the Fortnite kids, I feel like they don't have as rough as the time. Because I remember when I was like, Dad, you know, I kind of want to do this YouTube thing, and he was just like, well, you're not going to be sitting up in the house playing video games all day, you know. But I threw that in his face, you know what I mean? So
Exactly.
Yeah, I think they understand it now, especially because you know we turned it into a successful experience. So
right,
they can't really say nothing now.
Right, exactly.
Right. So I'll try this. Yeah, go ahead, Arif.
Oh, real quick, I just want to say there's a long period where I had people in my family, just older people, think that since I do the banter online with talking to people and talking back, they thought that I was doing everyone's voice. They thought that they thought the other kids were me too. And I was like, no, you can play with people around the world. Like, it's like you're on the phone. They're like, but how is that possible? But that was one of the
playing and talking?
Yes, I'm saying.
Yeah. Oh man. And to that point, Arif, so you're one of the things you do is voiceover, VO impressions, a lot of like jumping on random platforms and kind of surprising people. When your fans, because you do both Black and you name it voices, when people first saw your face and saw you were a Black guy doing it, what were some of the reactions, and were you surprised, or was it like, yeah, I kind of expected it?
Yeah, I expected it. Like the second I did that, I was like, I did a face reveal, and people were like, "What? How do you do? I don't like." Dude, every comment they said Will Smith, Tiger Woods, Drake, Ludacris. I'm not even lying. Bruno Mars, everyone. I was like, you kids just haven't seen any other Black people aside from the celebrities on TV. And they were just surprised. Like when I do Trump, they'll be like, wait, I mean, it's obviously a voice changer because he's Black. He can't do a white guy's voice. I'm like,
wow.
And people
because
like
genetically your vocal cords can't do a white voice.
Yeah,
so
right.
It just doesn't work that way.
Right. Yeah, no, I expected it, man. But I don't really.
And then, do you have like a fan favorite? Are you surprised that you get like Donald Trump requests versus Black Panther? Like, are there any, unexpected or surprising? Like, yeah, we actually found out you're a Black dude doing Donald Trump, but we kind of love it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, all the time. I'll get people saying like, you know what, I wasn't, I'm surprised that he can do whatever, like Donald Trump or Joe Pesci or something, but I don't care, man. He's doing good at it. Like when I go into a voice impression, because there's like this like common misconception that Black impressionists or comedians have to impersonate Black people. You know what I mean? Like you got to impersonate Chris Tucker or Eddie Murphy or something. And then when I go into an impression, I never think, oh, this is a Black voice, I got to do this, or this is a white voice, this is an Asian voice, whatever. You know what I mean? I just impersonate.
Awesome. And then it's funny, we had this kind of organic discovery because Marcel, if you want to give us a little bit about the kind of normal crew you play with. And, I think Arif, one or two times you jumped into that crew, and there's a fun little, wait,
yeah. So
wait, you're not Marcel.
Most people know me from playing. They call us the Vanoss crew. Oh, we don't, but everybody else does. Because Vanoss is, uber successful, and so I'm the only person of color in that group. Everybody else, is of the Caucasian variety, except for Vanoss, who's Asian. But Arif, you can take it from here.
Yeah, so I played with Vanoss's crew like once or twice on online, and everyone in the comments is like, oh, so is Azerrz the new Marcel? It's like,
there can only be one. There can only be one.
Literally. Like, oh, Marcel's gonna be so pissed another Black guy took his spot. And it's like, how come there's only one spot?
The Black took his spot.
He's the token. He's the new token.
Wow, it's interesting because you can't. There can only be one. It seems like. Right. You can't. It's not a swap. It's taking a spot. It's fighting for like the only seat at the table.
It's like that Key and Peele sketch when they were doing acapella, and he's like, "These are my white people." And they're fighting over it. They're both singing and stuff.
Yeah, literally.
Well, it's nuts, right? Because now with whatever 10, 15, 20 years ago, you really only had one, X number of TV channels, X number of roles in games, but now you each, for example, can have your own audiences, your own channels, your own distribution. And it's interesting because it's, do you think, or is Gaming While Black the show a possibility to kind of have these conversations and cross over to different, you don't have to be the only one. We can all do this, quote unquote, together, swap stories, swap, ideas, and really just engage in what it is to be that kind of Black gamer, YouTuber, you name it.
Right.
I believe
so next question I want to get into is to kind of jump into some of the harder hitting questions that have come up organically, and the one that I'm hoping we can discover over the course of these episodes. What do we believe in the history of gaming is the blackest gaming console, right? And that question is layered. Is it that the console's Black? Is it the games are Black? Like, what do you think as we're fleshing out and discovering this topic over the next couple of weeks and months that is a good kind of direction we should be heading?
I think we need to rule out the PS2. just completely, because it's the most sold console in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, to everybody's defense, I think it might be the blackest console, but I think we just got to get rid of it immediately.
That's a bold statement. Why get rid of it? What's the key factor that we take that out of the running?
It's the most sold console. I think you need to remove the average median, just being like, you know what, you can't say PlayStation 2 because everybody had a PlayStation 2. Right. Everybody in the world did.
Mm-hmm. So,
but at the same time, it might
be. Mm-hmm. So you think it's not just it's not just a numbers game. How many black folks had that console? It's like, what is a higher percentage of black people who had the console? Right. So is it, if we're saying that, is it what, a Dreamcast? Is it a PS4? Is it a Game Boy? Like, what do we think is like a Reef? If you had to pick one right now, quick go, what is it?
Based off my experience, just like, it's probably not even statistically correct, but like growing up, the N64 going to my boys' houses was like always in their house. And they had like those boxing games, and that was like all we played. That molded my childhood as a black kid, just going to my black friends' houses. They'd all have N64, you know, the yellow one with like maybe that right now.
I don't know, Marcel, are we in line with that? Do we disagree? Do we feel like is it the boxing games that do it?
Is it? I think it's N64 or Dreamcast. Those are my two.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's so hard to put PS2 out of my mind because it's there. I don't know. I honestly don't know, and that's why I want to figure it out.
Right. Because like, what are some factors that we should be considering? Right? Is it the games? Is it did your uncle have it? You know, like, what are these factors we should be considering when deciding what is the blackest gaming console?
Mm-hmm.
The games is number one. I feel like. Mm-hmm. What were you playing the most on that console?
Exactly.
And did it spark, you to play other games? 100%. Mm-hmm. But then to throw the PS2 back in this conversation, functionality. You know what I'm saying? It had a DVD player in it.
Right.
Great point.
I didn't have a DVD player before I had a PlayStation 2. That's just me.
Yeah.
Before that, we had the VHS TV it was attached to the TV.
Right. Same here.
Right, because in the black household, theoretically, the gaming console, you're not just playing a game in your room and it's yours. It's like, no. This is the DVD player. So
it moved
Friday night,
the room in the house. Where's the PS2?
Right.
It's upstairs. It's downstairs.
Yep. It's upstairs. Because we're watching X, Y, and Z movie. Lethal Weapon 4. Doesn't matter. Blade. It's being watched.
Blade 2 is being watched right now.
That was a good selling point for parents.
Yeah, Mom, we need a PlayStation 2. It's got a DVD player.
When my dad bought me a PlayStation 2, he really bought everybody a PlayStation 2.
Right.
Are there games that stand out, right? Are there games that stand out that were, or types of games that should also be considered? Is it fighting games? Is it games featuring rappers, right? Should we ignore those games? Like,
all the above.
Is there
yeah.
Yes,
all the
next
above.
question.
100%. You had Def Jam, Fight for New York and stuff.
That was crazy.
Fight Night.
Yep.
What was 2K's first console?
Wasn't it like NBA Live for a minute?
It was.
I think it was Dreamcast, right? I think it was the Sega family of games. Don't hold me to this, but I think Dreamcast continues to creep its ugly head out as the blackest console.
It sparked everything.
It sparked, I think, Soul Calibur, which I feel like is a relatively black fighting game that started on Dreamcast.
Ventura Fighter.
Which one?
Ventura Fighter. It was like a Tekken kind of ripoff a little bit.
Nope. Here's my black card. You have it. Here you go, Reef. Take it back.
I would say the blackest gaming console is those, like, you go to the barbershop and they have like Mortal Kombat that you could play on the side.
Right, the one-off. And then, one thing too we talked about briefly, and Reef, you had a good point, is representation in film is obviously a thing that is talked about constantly. # Oscars so white. I don't and I could have just missed it. I haven't seen that kind of conversation as widely communicated in the video game space. And I remember, Arif, one of the first things you talked about was, what is it to have a black video game versus a video game starring a black character versus, if a sequel to a game, can it have black characters? Can you switch the race? Like, is that okay? I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about some of the initial thoughts you had around that.
Well, yeah, I personally don't think it's a problem, but it's my experience is, I'll see YouTube comments. I wouldn't even question it. I'll see a sequel, like teaser trailer, and yeah, the guy's black now, cool. But the comments will be like, "Oh man, this is pandering to the black community, man. Why do you gotta just make the new game, man? Why do you, like for instance, I saw Prototype. Prototype 2 came out. It's a black dude. People had a problem with it. Mafia 3 came out. People had a problem with it. And I was like, I mean, if it's just like, for Mafia's sake, it was like a historical thing that he was in New Orleans coming. I mean, that happened. Yeah. Stuff like that happened. And I don't think it was a problem to have, for instance, they're redoing the first one. They brought it back to the Italian mob. Like, just because there's one black game doesn't mean every single game is going to be like, oh, black, Mexican, please, oh no. You know what I mean?
Do you think people are upset that the next Spider-Man game is Miles Morales?
I feel like people don't see.
You see what I'm saying? Like, is that still an issue right now?
Yeah, I feel like
are they just like, as long as it's down, I don't care. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? As long as he's Spider-Man the whole time, I don't care.
Right. I feel like Miles Morales is one of the first characters to me that I haven't seen any, like, no one gives like people just don't care. Yeah, which is cool.
So is Miles Morales, and tell me this is a crazy question, is it because he's another Spider-Man and not now the Spider-Man?
I think so.
It's like it's an alternate universe kind of thing.
Yeah,
the multiverse.
Yeah, like Peter Parker's still there, so we got
Peter. You know what I'm
exactly.
Yeah. Right. Whereas in Mafia, I feel like they don't. Did they have callbacks to the original Mafia guys? Or
they have the original characters. They have the original characters in the new one. I mean, Mafia 3. Mm-hmm. They have like the Italian dude from the other 2 games in it. Yeah.
And did you guys find yourselves in or not? Right. This is not meant to be a leading question, but like when growing up, even now, do you gravitate towards the black characters in games? Do you feel like you have a certain connection to the dreaded, Brazilian fighter in Tekken, or do you have just like I pick whoever?
Eddie Gordo was a savage. I don't even, you know what I mean? And his dad, Tiger with the afro. I picked him every time. I'm not even joking. Every single time.
Right.
But why? Why did you pick him? Why him?
I don't know. I honestly have no idea. I was just I'm trying to get into this. What's up?
Right. If they're not stereotypes, I find myself playing as them more. Like if every other avatar is like a normal person, the black guy has the chain and the 2 guns and the tank top, I'm not going to play as him. But if he's like a normal
even
black
though you're
dude,
even though you're wearing that while you're playing, you're not going to play with that guy.
Yeah, if he has a red beanie on and like an oversized sweat, I'm not playing.
Like when I sit down to play games and I set down my 2 guns, take off my chain, I'm not picking a character in the game that has 2 guns and a chain. I need a break.
Right, I need a break. Yeah.
Oh man, and then some of the things too. Just as we're getting close on time, we don't. It's funny, we talked about the show, and you guys are like, look, we don't want to just talk solely about gaming. It kind of branches off. And I think one of the questions was, what is the question, Marcel? I'm going to butcher it. You know what I'm getting at.
Okay, the question is why do black people love anime so much? Like, Goku is a second Jesus Christ to most black people.
Yeah,
like
it's true.
Like, you throw any anime, you're like, but he won't be Goku. You're just like, come on, bro.
They don't even,
but he won't be. And I mean, everybody loves anime. If you love anime, but why do black people hand on the Goku Dragon Ball Z Bible? Why are they just all in?
It has to be to me because Pokemon and Pokemon, Naruto, Dragon Ball Z. I would say Dragon Ball Z, but Toonami, black people don't have access to like Funimation and stuff.
Toonami killed
so Yeah, like Dragon Ball Z was all over Toonami, right? And that's all people watched, man. I mean,
Samurai
to
Jack.
me,
You know what I mean? Like,
oh man, yeah, fire.
But what's the reason? What do we think? If we had to pull on a thread, if we had to make some bold guesses, right? And obviously we're going to do this over a number of episodes with other Black, you'll say gamer, anime fans who will give us our 2 cents. But like, what are these threads we're pulling?
Black nerds. Like, I don't.
Yeah, blurred.
I can give you a scenario. What time did Dragon Ball Z come on? Wasn't it right after school and right before any sports practice ever?
Right, it's a good window.
Go on.
You know what I'm saying? Because
I
came home from school. I had enough time to get a snack, watch Pokemon or Dragon Ball Z, and then I had to go to the Boys and Girls Club literally every day.
So if we're saying it was, I don't know, Captain Planet was on during that time, maybe we'd have a whole different trajectory.
Black people just love Captain Planet.
Tree.
Is that it?
Tree.
Oh, right. Because the black guy one was Nature.
Yeah,
was it
Brother?
Right.
Oh, was he?
I don't remember.
Wasn't he Earth? Maybe.
Yeah, he was Earth. I think he was.
Okay. Well, that's a whole nother thread. For the sake of this panel, we won't go down that path. But let's see. I think the last kind of tee up question we'll say is, in the idea of gaming while Black, as it were, are there other topics, right? Because you guys are uniquely positioned that you're not just playing games as Black guys. You have a career about this. You're doing this where when you go to like YouTube conferences, right, or conferences in general, you're out in the public. Are there instances where you feel both like I'm a gamer, but I'm a Black gamer first, at least at potential conferences or out in public, i.e. at a YouTube Black convention per se?
I personally think their outlook on me is going to be I'm a Black gamer, but I don't really think of myself as I think of myself as a gamer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when it comes on the conversation, of course, I'm ready to talk about it and tell my experiences about it. But I don't really identify myself as just that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I'm more inclined to go to every video gaming convention than I am just to go to like a YouTuber convention or a YouTube Black convention. And we've talked about this a little bit. It's like me and Arif, we're both a part of YouTube Black more than we are part of YouTube gaming.
Right.
So it's like we didn't choose the YouTube Black life. The YouTube Black life was thrust upon us. You know what I mean?
Right.
And shout out to YouTube Black and all of our Black creators. We're just like, we're gamers too, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta put us in both categories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I have like I said, shout out to that. But I have like 0 YouTube gaming merch and like 20 YouTube Black shirts. So yeah.
I mean, I got my Afro pick in fist pins from YouTube Black. But I don't got any controller pins.
Right, like I'll go in a video game. I'll go in a video game and get noticed like left and right, but it's not like I walk into the hood and every Black person, hey, yo, you Azerrz, like it's like do your voice. Yeah, so you know what I mean.
Yeah. Amazing. And then I lied. The last question is Deathloop. How do we feel about Deathloop? Are we excited? Is this a game changer? Is this just par for the course? Like, what do we feel about and can you give everyone listening, if they don't know, what Deathloop is?
Asher, you want to take this one away a little bit?
Yeah. Is it Arcane Studios or something like that?
Yes, it is Arcane Studios, yes.
All right, so everyone loves...
Yeah, Arcane Bethesda.
Yeah, so everyone loves Bethesda in terms of their publishing. I mean, not every single game is... Okay, but Arcane's also... Yeah, right. Everyone loves Dishonored that plays it, I think, and it's cool that they have a big following, cult following, Arcane with Dishonored series, and to take, it's like, I feel like they probably play with the idea of having Corvo be a Black guy in the next game in the sense of the whole Black sequel thing, because the gameplay looks really similar to, but it's cool that they gave it their own story. in their own game, in their own world. And I think that leaves room for those people that used to complain about, if you're going to have Mafia or whatever prototype, why don't you make it its own game? This is exactly what they're doing. So if you see people complaining here, that's clearly just your ignorance or whatever, you know what I mean? So I think it's awesome that they're taking, people have been waiting for another Dishonored game for a minute, especially all those stealth gamers on YouTube and stuff like that. And they're going to eat this game up to me. It's its own thing, and it doesn't seem forced. It just seems like both the protagonists and antagonists are black, which is awesome.
Yep.
So it's going to be interesting to see people's experiences playing it, and I'm excited. Yeah.
Okay, cool. We're at the 30-minute mark, so I'm going to jump over to questions from the audience.
Cool.
Let's get it.
Okay, so one question is, what were your favorite avatars to choose growing up? So I think going back to I think I'd add to it, what games, right, did you go to? And then subsequently, what were the avatars every time, no questions asked, that you went to?
Gotcha. Marcel?
That's tough. I mean, on Xbox and stuff, I just picked Master Chief and stuff because that's what I was playing at the time, or whatever came with the Call of Duty packs and stuff. But
yeah, they mean profile avatars or in the game?
Is that what we're talking about, or actual in-game characters? Because
let's say in-game characters.
In-game characters.
I'll add a little spin to it. Apologies if that's not the actual question.
In-game characters. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, because I think in our generation, earlier games didn't really have as much as it is now. A lot of games are multiplayer, tailored for multiplayer, so you can pick whatever. Yeah. But we just played as
it wasn't a thing.
There's one dude, a chick. You know what I mean?
Right. There wasn't
the strongest dude. I mean, back then at least, the robot, the dinosaur, whoever looked tight. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be the robot or the dinosaur or the alien.
I wasn't always picking Jax in Mortal Kombat, but I feel like people probably expected me to, but I don't. I feel like it's in our growing up, we didn't really have. It wasn't really a thing to be choosing the black dude as much because we didn't really have that option. And then when when we did, it would be like the stereotype,
Yeah, like Jax with metal arms.
Exactly.
You got to fight a freezing dude who can freeze you, another dude that can pull you from across the stage. What you got? I got metal arms. What's up?
Yeah. On the box. Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting you guys mentioned that fighting games or maybe even older games had that kind of, you can choose who you're going to, be in this journey, these side scrollers, which stereotype do you want to be?
Right.
But it's interesting because you guys are mentioning that you don't really have that either option or it's not required in kind of recent games, which I guess brings up some of your points earlier, Reef, of you kind of, the game is so story involved. That's the character, that's their backstory, that's who it is. So he's getting this kind of Mafia 3 black character. It's kind of the only opportunity you get to play as a black character who's not got metal arms or other fun stereotypes. Other question, is there a character who, who's the blackest non-black character that you guys have experienced in
popular in gaming?
That's a question.
Blackest non-black character.
Blackest non-black character in a video game.
In a video game.
In recent years, or just I don't know. I think.
That is a tough question, and I am not prepared to answer that.
Yeah. That's
okay, let's go to the next.
Yeah,
I would need like string and pins and be like, I would need to connect some dots.
The team.
Mario or Luigi? We'll put that one. Which one, if you had to make one, if one was blacker than the other, which one?
Luigi's more black than Mario, 100%.
Yeah, he's
and
taller.
why is that? Go on.
I mean,
he can always jump higher, right?
He's jumped higher. He's taller. He's always late. You know what I'm saying? You don't get to play at him unless someone's already playing as Mario.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Great
He's a
points. All.
hater. He's hating off his brother, so he got a girlfriend that looks just like his brother's girlfriend. His first solo game is he buys a raggedy house and has to get out all the ghosts. Come on.
Yep.
That's so true because he's stuck in, there's zoning laws that he can't actually get into Mario's neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So he has to have this raggedy house.
Luigi's
Lovecraft Country.
He has a makeshift
sorry,
vacuum to catch all the ghosts.
So Luigi was a product of redlining. Like he's on the other side of the tracks.
You're right. He does have a vacuum. Your weapon in this game is a vacuum. Get to clean it. Okay.
That's hilarious.
That went on a dark turn, but that's what the show's doing. That's what we're
just gonna have funny conversations. You can take it. You can take it for what it is. You know what
exactly.
I mean?
All right. Next.
Let me go back to the questions here. Let's see here. That's a tough one. Oh, this is an interesting one. Do black characters die in games first? Is that something you've noticed, or is that games a little more pioneering in that they don't necessarily stick to some of the Hollywood tropes?
Yeah, I personally haven't noticed that.
I haven't noticed it recently, but when it does happen, I do notice. Like I do, yep, okay, cool. I'm trying to think of the last game I had a black person in it that died.
Yeah.
All right, video games, huh? Making the moves, being the change that we want to see.
I know that in the game Until Dawn, where you got to kind of choose who died. The character, I'm not sure of his name, but Jordan Fisher plays one of the black characters, and apparently it is extremely difficult to keep him alive.
Okay, well,
really,
from what I've heard, people are like I tried my best. You were a bitch to keep alive. We have no, you know what I mean, like.
Interesting.
But
yeah, that's probably going to be the one game I was going to reference too, because I
couldn't think of anything else.
Yeah,
I feel like an episode should be catered to that game. You guys take the time, do the diligence,
we do everything we can to keep him alive.
That'd be funny.
Everything we can, every decision, start over, restart, reload, last checkpoint to keep him alive. Jordan Fisher has to make it to the end.
Right.
Because I like the idea that you have that with the red wire, right? The red string. If he makes this choice and he goes back this way and he calls on his ancestors
this
here.
This is where we messed up. We got to go back to here. We got to go back to 19. Chapter 4. Exactly we made a left turn. We got to go back and make a right turn.
That sounds great.
Another question, interesting. There's Black Twitter. Obviously, everyone knows Black Twitter. Is there
Not everybody.
Great point. Everyone who knows that there's Black Twitter. Is there a gamer version of that? Is there a gaming Black Twitter or some level of that you guys have seen? You got to think about it.
Off rip, like a community that is within himself about like black.
Maybe.
Sounds like that community.
I haven't found it.
Yeah.
Sounds like that community might be gaming while black.
It could be. It very well could be.
You're right. That could be it.
Sounds like you guys have a job to do, huh? Sounds like the community needs to be made. You're not the heroes we wanted, but the heroes we needed.
We need to unite the black YouTubers so we can create this wormhole of how did I get here? Because that's exactly how you get to Black Twitter if you've never been there. You'd be like, how did I end up here?
It's very true.
So I took a dark turn somewhere, and this is how I got. I don't understand.
So there's no front door to Black Twitter. You just you stumble on it, and then you just go down that.
Yeah, trip, fall with a flashlight. You have the Black Twitter.
Well, on that note, it sounds like again, Gaming While Black has its job to do. Any last thoughts or remarks before we wrap it up?
I'm excited. To bring together all our black nerds, have some conversations, play some games, make some jokes
for that.
Have some fun.
Yeah, I'm excited to to try to keep Jordan Fisher alive and Until Dawn. I'm ready for this. Yeah, I'm excited.
All right, well, I don't know how to end this,
it's been day 23. Trying to keep Jordan Fisher alive.
It's so hard. Why is it so hard?
He's died 83 times.
Your eyes are bloodshot. Oh, yeah.
All right, well, on that note, thank you, everyone, for joining. I think we're going to wrap it up here. I'm not sure on the new digital VidCon Live how to wrap it up, but I think, stay tuned.
Yeah. Be on the lookout. We got some stuff coming.
All right, guys.
Yeah, follow Reed,
awesome.
follow Marcel.
Thank you.
Like and subscribe. All right, guys.
Guess we have a good one.
Peace.